Nancy Pelosi is struggling to find the votes to become Speaker of the House again. Talking Points memo reports here, they say Pelosi flexes her muscles to quell Dem rebellion against her leadership. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi looked to make a show of strength on Wednesday during the first day of caucus meetings since her party won control of the chamber, pushing out key endorsements for her as Speaker, even as her critics promised they had the votes to block her on the House floor in January. Quote, "I'm a busy person, but I will be the Speaker of the House, no matter what he said," Pelosi declared to reporters late Wednesday morning, swiping back at Representative Seth Moulton's Tuesday night claims that his group agitating for new Democratic leadership had enough votes to keep her from the 218 needed to return to the speakership. But Pelosi is clearly working hard to make sure that proclamation comes true. Her office unveiled endorsements from 6 more national unions on Wednesday, bringing the total to 13, including the AFL-CIO and SEIU. The vast majority of heavy hitters in the Democratic power structure, including women's groups and progressive organizations, have already endorsed her. Most House Democrats are solidly behind her as well, and no opponent has stepped forward to challenge her, though Representative Marcia Fudge floated herself as a possible candidate Wednesday. But the requirement that a House Speaker needs 218 votes on the House floor, combined with the Democrats' relatively small majority and the high number of freshmen likely to face tough races next year, means she can't afford to lose many people. Okay, so she needs 218 votes. Dems will have at least 229 seats in the House. So she can only lose somewhere between 11 and 19 votes. And as of right now, she doesn't have the votes. Now, what is she doing in order to counteract that? Well, not only is she like trotting out all these endorsements from all these different groups, progressive groups, which she's trying to be like, hey, come on, I have the overwhelming backing here. See? You have to vote for me. Everybody who came out and endorsed her, it was because there was some smoke-filled backroom dealing to endorse her. 100%. Now, why do I say that? Like unions were endorsing her. Let me ask you a question. You think it's the leadership of the unions that want her, or is it, all of the people that make up the unions? I got news for you. 39% of Democrats want to see Pelosi back as Speaker. Not 39% of the country, 39% of Democrats. So the overwhelming majority of Democratic voters say, we don't want Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. We don't want her there at all. So she's like, us, everybody supports me, see? Look, I got these so-called progressive groups and these unions. See, this is when you brag about being the largest fundraiser, when you're buddy-buddy with the status quo and the powers that be, yes, you're going to be able to do a fake showing of support. But that's what it is. It's fake. Again, the polls show, it was either Gallup or Pew, 39% of Democrats support her. She's not popular. Are you kidding me? They run attack ads against her in places where she's got nothing to do with the race because she is deeply corrupt. So The Hill is now reporting that outside of doing that to try to force people to support her, Pelosi supports changing the House rules that are pushed by the so-called Problem Solvers Caucus, which is just, like a right-leaning caucus, which is like, the Democrats and the Republicans who consider themselves moderates. She's open to changing the rules if a handful of Republicans in the Problem Solvers Caucus back her to become Speaker. Think about that, guys. She's cutting a deal with Republicans behind closed doors to stab in the back the lefty Congress people who are representing the will of the people when they say we need new leadership. How nuts is that, man? How nuts is that? So she's doing the exact thing, which is the reason why we don't want her to be Speaker. She's doing it again right now. In order to try to maintain that power, she's willing to do the exact thing that made us dislike her in the first place. Who? Me? Oh, I'm just so reasonable and above the fray that I'll cut deals with the right wing. And oh, would you look at that? Every time I'm cutting deals with anybody, it's to stab my constituents in the back and to go against what I'm supposed to be here to do. To serve Wall Street and Big Pharma and the for-profit health insurance companies. Who, me? I'm just a deal maker. That's what I am. Even though the deals are overwhelmingly hated. So she's going to stab in the back the lefty Congress people who are saying, hey, we need new leadership because you're incredibly unpopular. She cares more about her own narcissism and self-aggrandizement and power than she does about the Democrats putting forward the right foot here now that they have control of the House again. I mean, if the Democrats put strong, intelligent leadership in place, that is going to make it so much more likely that the Democrats get, pick up more seats in the next election. But if you put Nancy Pelosi forward again, that's going to lead to a giant backlash. And for understandable reasons. Not only do Republicans dislike her, most Democrats dislike her. It's unbelievable what's happening, man. It really is. And by the way, a note to the media here. Do your fucking job on this. Because every article I've read about Nancy Pelosi wanting to be speaker implies heavily that the only Congress people who are against her becoming speaker, they're right-leaning Congress people. Like, oh, it was the people in the more conservative districts who ran more moderate campaigns who said, yeah, we don't want Nancy Pelosi to be speaker. Now, to be fair to them, that is true that many of them who don't want Nancy Pelosi to be speaker are in that camp, that they are from more moderate districts, and so they're trying to represent what they think are more right-leaning voters. That is half true. But the people who are most critical of Nancy Pelosi are to her left in her own fucking party. And I've seen no acknowledgement in any of the articles that she has people against her, and perhaps most strongly against her, to her left. They make it seem like, it's all the people who are right-leaning Democrats who are trying to torpedo this strong progressive from getting elected. Are you fucking kidding me? Nancy Pelosi, strong progressive, my ass cheeks. Servant of Wall Street. She's for Medicare for all. She's not for Medicare for all. I wish she was for Medicare for all. She's not even for Medicare for all when 9 out of 10 Democrats, nearly 90% of Democrats, are for Medicare for all. You're going to spit in your own party's face that way, in your own voters' face that way, and then you expect everybody to be like, oh yeah, sure, we're on your side and you're some sort of strong progressive. Fuck out of here, man. It's embarrassing. When Trump bombed Syria, she supported it. And this is the person that we wanted to lead the so-called resistance? Get the fuck out of here. So listen, there better be an alliance between those right-leaning Democrats in the House and the actual left. Every person who's actually on the left, you better stand strong. You better not vote for Pelosi because you're put there for a reason. You got elected for a reason. It's because you're a change of the old guard in politics. All the people who are strong, who are either Justice Democrats endorsed, Our Revolution, DSA, PCCC, you better stand your ground and you better be against Nancy Pelosi because this is a true test of character. And if you do end up voting for Nancy Pelosi, well, then we're going to have to keep an extra eye on you too, and we're going to have to push you further to the left now, aren't we? Because it would be unacceptable for you to buckle on such a key, important issue. I mean, if we were to have Barbara Lee as speaker, she didn't support the authorization for use of military force in Iraq. She supports Medicare for all. We need somebody who represents the people more like Barbara Lee does. By the way, Marcia Fudge, hilarious name, Fudge. But in all seriousness, is she a step in the right direction, better than Nancy Pelosi? Yes, she supports Medicare for all. So that alone, now she's not perfect, she's got a bunch of problems, but listen, man, she supports Medicare for all. She more accurately represents the Democratic will than Nancy Pelosi does. So y'all better stand up and fight. Because she's going to try every dirty trick in the book in order to maintain her grip on power. But we don't want to take it anymore. She needs to go because she's a representative of everything wrong with the Democratic machine. She's a representative of rank neoliberalism, corporatism, and warmongering. And so it's time for new, fresh faces who actually represent the people.